at the moment and what is the emotional state or condition of the other person with whom he or she is interacting, then he or she must be able to regulate his own emotions and influence the emotions of others so that he or she can control the situation, can achieve something in life. Life will be easier when he is or her part. We must be thinking, when the young child is so small, who is so small and who doesn't understand a lot of things in life, how to handle them? Yes, that is a very, very challenging issue. Why I am talking about it? Because we are focusing on students. So from the very beginning, you should focus on the emotional aspect of one's behavior. For example, a child is exhibiting temper tantrum, okay, puts trembling and making the body stiff, or she is not listening to anybody, he is behaving like anything. What parents should do? Most of the time, parents get upset. They try to control the baby in their own ways, which actually doesn't become effective. Most of the parents do not know that this is not the time to teach the child, to control the child, because the child is too young, and during this time, the lower part of the brain dominates over the upper part. Lower part means your primitive brain structures, especially your amygdala and hypothalamus. Upper part, which involves cerebral cortex, in fact guides your higher psychological processes. At the same moment, the left logical hemisphere also gets affected. It dominates the right hemisphere, which is non-orgal, holistic in nature. That is why when you say something, try to control, regulate the behavior of the child, he will not listen to you. He will not listen to you. Rather, he will think or she will think that being the mom or dad, you are his or her enemy. So, intelligent parents, emotionally intelligent parents, allow the emotional flood to go out, the wave to pass. Let the child to relax for a moment. Ask him, request him to calm down and to sit for a period. Only when he gets rest, okay, when he sits quiet, and the mother, the father sees that both the parties are ready to communicate, they can communicate with the baby. Then only, because you want that the left hemisphere must come to the board. During that time, if you try to teach the child anything, try to teach him how to regulate his emotions. What is the difference between need and want? Why it is needed? What will happen if he or she doesn't get that particular object? What will happen if something else happens in this world? These things, if you try to teach the child during that moment, probably he or she will understand you. And the most important thing is that the child observes his or her parents meticulously, especially during these situations. How my mom is behaving, how my dad is behaving, how they are controlling their emotions or the reactions, that they repeat. That gets internalized in the child. You may try to stop the baby or the child from his behavior, or if he or she is creating some disturbances at home, you may try to stop him. He may stop, he may not. Even if he stops because of his fear towards you, but it won't continue for a long period of time, because internally the baby cries. That is the most important thing. So first of all, you try to realize, understand your own emotions, being parents, being adults with the child. Then you try to shape the child's emotions, regulate the child's emotions. And if the child develops or grows up into an adolescent or adult, obviously will find that a lot of changes has come into that child. He is now capable of understanding himself, his own emotions. He is capable capable of regulating his own emotions, and he is thinking about the situation in a different manner. As a student, grown-up student, like an adolescent or an adult, young adult, he may attain the goals in a better way, can handle the situation in a better way. That is why we say that mental health is important, because these things lead to mental health. Dharmabrata sir bahut katha kahile, very important, very, very important. Why the children and students of these days are so restless? कहा पाखि पेशेंस नहीं, धैर्य नहीं, बसवाक इच्छा नहीं, शुणवाक इच्छा नहीं, किसी करने को इच्छा नहीं, एका संगे 4टा 5टा काम करने को इच्छा कहीं जो हठात के क्या गोटे पचारि देले केमती लगुଛି मन कहीं किसी भल लगुनी यही समय तो खुशी रहा कथा यही समय तो निज इच्छा अनुसार किसी काम करने को सुजोग मिलूँ यही समय यू आर फुल ऑफ लाइफ बट पॉइंट इज दैट we are not able to manage ourselves. It केते जन psychology students अच्छा कहला हाथ टिप most of them. So I was expecting others from other departments के नाम पिला तो बहुत कथा जानी चंदे तथापि मु किछि कथा कहिबी दुईटा जिंस मन रखिबो एटा general mental health associated or connected with this particular thing. Another term which we call mental disorder or mental illness. सुनिथिबो निश्चित भाव साइकोलॉजी क्लास आर दे सेम नो mental illness or mental disorder is different, mental health is different, because a person not being diagnosed to be suffering from any kind of mental disorder can be very poor mentally or may have poor mental health. On the other hand, persons who are suffering from some kind of or some form of mental disorder at times, periodically, can also go through periods of wellness, psychological, social and emotional. Treatment रे अच्छी मेडिसिन खाऊचंदी भलो लागुची मेडिसिन सरीगला बा अन्य किसी असुविधा है आउ थरे देह खराब लागिबा तेणु दुईटा जाक समान नहे आमे एटा जानिबा कथा मेंटल डिसऑर्डर तो केते प्रकार अछि चिल्ड्रन सफर फ्रॉम सम लाइक different behavior. Children can suffer from conduct disorder, oppositional defiant disorder, conduct disorder, hyperactivity, attention deficit hyperactive disorder, autism spectrum disorder, learning disorders. Children suffer from all this. Adults and adolescents can suffer from all the disorders like anxiety disorder, mood disorder, personality disorder, dissociative disorder, somatoform disorder, substance-related disorder, eating disorder, so many things are there. Apart from these, elderly suffer from two different kinds of disorder mostly. One is dementia, nowadays which is rampant in our society. The other one is delirium. Besides, they can have hallucinations, they can have other difficulties. They may have suicidal tendencies. Very often they become successful. Among all these disorders, two have become very, very prominent and are frequently occurring these days. One is depression, the other one is anxiety. Most of the young people complain about anxiety, depression. They come to doctors, to psychiatrists, to psychologists for that treatment. Why? These are neurologically related. Previously we were calling them as psychoneurological disorders. Neurosis also. Nowadays, we call them anxiety disorders because the root is anxiety. One is extreme fear, other one is extreme anxiety. Now, these disorders actually also are connected with the mental health of a person. Obviously, when the person is suffering from some disorder, he is not mentally sound. Mental health is not good of that particular person. We are suffering, or people are suffering from these disorders because of a host of factors. Genetic, some are environmental. Among genetic factors, we know genes are responsible for this. The other thing is that environmental factors means maybe very negative childhood experiences like child abuse or parental death or health issues in the family, and excessive use of drugs, alcohol. These factors contribute to these results. But point is that, can you have a control on it? If it is genetically determined, it is difficult.